Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch or the Oscars here. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for June 11th, 2023 with your host, Mixmaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
It's more Kamen Rider Black, folks. Hooray!
Yep, it was 4 more episodes.
It's
2 of which that started out with somewhat interest and then immediately dropped.
I was baffled by the start of the 4th one because I'm like, wait, how? Okay.
I'm not questioning the lack of science behind that 4th one, just saying.
I'm just amazed at the circumstances because I'm like, how the fuck did you manage to pull this off?
I'm more baffled by the fact of this is the 2nd time we should have had him be able to defeat, one of our final 4 villains, and we just walk away with our head held high like, yeah, we did it. No, you did nothing. You set us back to where we were before this episode, meaning this episode was pointless. You did nothing.
Yeah.
It's getting old.
Mm-hmm. But it's only like 5 more episodes or something. I forget how many we have left.
Now, how many you've got uploaded and how many the wiki says there is are 2 different numbers. So I am a little bit confused.
Not all of them are up on the wiki, or on not the wiki, up on the drive because space limitations at the time.
Because it's 52 episodes. Meaning this has happened within the last 10. We can kill people off now and be fine.
No. Don't wanna. We gotta do them all in one episode.
I'm gonna be really aggravated if we get all the way to the end of this show just to find out that none of the 4 get removed, and that's what happens at the beginning of RX or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's gonna piss me off at that point.
Yeah.
Because then we will have had an entire show that literally, if you skip everything except for the first episode, you would be fine. Well, I take that back. That is a little harsh. The first episode and the first one, the Shadow Moon, was there.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you can skip all of the rest of the show because nothing happens.
Yeah. But before that, you want to talk about Geats for the week?
And about Ace's questionable concepts? Sure.
Ace is just like, well, I've attained godhood. I'm just gonna try to make people happy, and that's the plan. And I'm like, okay.
But is that really a DGP at that point? It's kind of missing the point of the DGP was to have multiple riders competing to try to make one happy. He kind of missed that part of it.
I think it's less like the Desire Grand Prix as a competition and more of a Desire Grand Prix as in it's just the name of the organization I've hijacked.
But it's like, come on, you've been reincarnated for 2,000 years. You couldn't have thought of an idea for this if it ever happened?
Yeah. He doesn't want to rename it because that's got to be the end of the show, is when he renames it to something else.
When he renames it to something else and makes it to where it's a pocket dimension that he controls.
I meant just the Desire Grand Prix in general of, it's just me, Smiri, and Win just doing whatever the fuck we want.
I'm still a little baffled with his idea of, I'm not gonna make anyone be a rider, but I'm gonna make them remember everything from when they were a rider. My dude, you realize that they are gonna want to be a rider. You pretty much are making them.
Yeah, I think he's like, I'm going to give them the choice, and I'm going to give them their memories back so that I don't fuck them up in some terrible way.
Except by giving them their memories back, he's also giving them the thought of them coming to the realization that they will be riders.
Yeah.
His logic's flawed.
I mean, we've established that he's a bit broken as a human being. So I'm not surprised.
I mean, at this point, it might as well be him saying, I'm not going to make you a rider, but here's a belt anyhow. Because that's
just in case.
What he's doing.
Yeah. But yeah, this entire episode is just, here is set up for more or less the last arc of the show of this one new DGP asshole is going to try to kidnap Samiri, and I guess he's final boss at some point. But I just have to go, Ace literally can just snap his fingers and bop you out of existence if he wanted to. The fuck are you gonna do?
That's what's kind of got me puzzled. Because what can he do? Like, are we gonna find out that there's something odd about the Yamato that even the creation powers can't get rid of?
I guess. Like,
otherwise there's not really a point to this.
Yeah, they try to put a limiter on him of just like, okay, you have limitations. You can't just snap all the ID cores back into existence because we can't get Nago and Keiwa's sister back as riders immediately. So that's out. Okay. Odd limitation. Also, there seems to be a physical limitation of he requires just food and stuff, so it can take it out of him. So it's weird because I'm just like, all right, you have literally turned on Ace's God mode. Oops, now we have to backpedal so that we can have like 8 more episodes of the show. Otherwise, Ace could just snap his fingers and just call the show over.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Thinking about, because we kind of had the same situation with Gaim.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of, not necessarily put hard limitations in the show, but they did kind of hold back.
Mm-hmm.
Kota really could have just ended the show right after Kiwami.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like wondering, it's like, okay, so we've set up Ekiro and Peroba to be more or less the final bosses for Keiwa and Michinaka. That's the end point for the two of them.
Yeah.
Ace is gonna have to deal with either DGP guy or Yamato guy to end, and I guess Neon gets whoever's not in that. Probably Yamato guy. Because, for those wondering, we know all 3 of our writers currently are getting final forms. They're all premium Bandai, mind you, but they're all getting final forms. Keiwa's is getting his next week from the preview we've seen, and there's speculation that form works just like Mark III, Mark IX, where it has like a half form and then the revolve to full form. I don't know why they want to duplicate that for Kayla, but all right, sure.
Because he's the unofficial secondary main rider.
Pretty much.
We've spent more time in the show following him, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that kind of would make sense. When we do stuff like that, it tends to end up being that way, which is weird.
Yeah. But he's getting his next week, which is Shogun for anyone curious. Michinaga is supposed to get Demon King at some point between now and the end of the show. Presumably he's next. And then Seeker is supposed to come back in the show, get Fantasy, which has been in the driver forever. He's going to get it first, and then Neon's going to get it and get a new ID core. It'll be like a gold version of her ID core, and that's essentially her final form. And that's all that's Premium Bandai, for those wondering. That's why we know about it, because a Chinese trademark listings for Premium Bandai cropped up, and someone was able to take the whole damn list and put it on the internet, and the whole list has been correct so far. So we know this has to be right, because everything before it has been right. Because it's been a lot of like Ryuki reissue stuff and like other Premium Bandai stuff that has cropped up. So these are real. And I think people have even done sketches of these three buckles, because Keiwa and Michinaga's are actually two-sided buckles like Mark III, Mark IX, but Neon's is just one-sided because she doesn't get a dual one.
Well, theirs is probably going to pattern after Mark III, Mark IX. Hers is probably going to pattern after Mark II.
Yeah. Actually, if I recall correctly, Fantasy is a remodel of the Ninja buckle, if I recall correctly. So, like, physically, it's going to, like, look like Fantasy a bit, but it will be a different buckle. I wonder if I can find those sketches. Or someone who's put all the sketches together. Because I believe these sketches are accurate, because the one for Mark III, Mark IX, or specifically for Mark IX, was correct. And that came out before we got a physical look at Mark IX. And also, we have seen Dark Geats, or Izanagi, who's the movie villain. Hooray!
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that movie in 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, it's the only like downside. It's just like, all right, that movie's gonna be cool when I actually get to see it eventually.
Maybe.
Yeah. I saw the fantasy one, but I didn't see the one of all them together. Somebody has done one of all them together. Oh well.
I was gonna say, you probably won't wind up finding it because you're trying to find it.
Yeah.
That's typically how that seems to go.
Yeah, but the Shogun one, it's a sheathed blade when they're two together, and when you pull them apart, it unsheathes the blade, and you put the other one in, and now it's like a full blade across the belt. I don't think Mao's will do the 2-in-1 form situation, because it doesn't seem to do that. It seems to just be one thing across both, at least from the sketch I've seen of it. So maybe Keiwa just gets to be special and gets to copy the format. Otherwise, I'm still enjoying Geats. I'm enjoying it more than Black at this point.
That's not saying much at all.
No. Also, question: is our new gardener friend actually Nudge Sparrow, or is it a Yamato pretending to be him?
I want to say actually.
I kind of do too, but some part of me thinks that Baroba took his cracked ID core a couple episodes ago. And I believe that's all they need to duplicate someone. So it makes me think he's just a Yamato that looks like him.
But here's the problem. That is functioning under the original concept of if your ID core gets busted due to battle, then you are gone. His ID core got cracked after that, when it was a case of when you lose your ID core, you just cannot be a rider anymore. Meaning that he's technically still around. And that her having his broken ID cord does not necessarily mean anything.
Yeah.
It's one of those that I'm like, the circumstances around his lead me to think that it's probably him.
Yeah.
Not to mention, they won't let him go away.
No, it's so weird that like when they were doing the live tour stuff for Rider and Sentai, they did pair ups of Dom Brothers and Geats Riders, and Nudge Sparrow was in there, but no Lopo. So he's kind of like the fifth of the at the time. Which I say that now I'm wondering, who would I count as the main writers of this show? Like the core writers of this show. Because we obviously have our main four, but like beyond those, I don't know who else to count.
I mean, really, he is the only other one. That might have been what they ran into.
Because like Wynn's been around long enough, and now he's back in the show. Lopo was decently around and got to interact with Neon. Nudge Sparrow was around a decent amount of time. So I'm almost willing to count them three to make 7. Otherwise, wow, this sketch has just literally disappeared. Well, there's the one that has the buffer and the Tycoon one. And now I won't find the knee one again.
Yeah, the sketch for the Buffa one, that looks like it's a copy. Kind of deal.
Yeah.
The Tycoon one, I'm actually more getting Mark II vibes off of it.
But you can see where, like, when they're together, it's sheathed. When they come apart, it's that this unsheathed thing.
That's why I'm thinking it's a Mark II concept there.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense. You'd have the one form. You'd basically have Mark II and Laser Boost concept with that. which would give him technically 2 final forms.
I guess the same as Keats to start that fire that I don't want to deal with.
Yes, because we've totally seen Mark III more than the one time it was used.
I can't wait for that to be the only time we ever see Mark III.
If that legitimately is the only time we've ever seen Mark III, then no, it does not count as a final form. It barely counts as a form at that point.
Yeah. I felt like it almost should have been just like the top half of Mark IX, and then that was it.
No, it should have lasted for more than 5 seconds.
Well, that too.
It should have had an episode to an episode and a half of being relevant.
Hmm. And then there's fantasy. Like I said, it is a remold of Ninja, just in function, essentially. Because you pull the thing, it spins the thing. But Seeker's going to get that first, and then Naga will get it. So I guess she beats up Seeker for it and steals it off his corpse. Maybe, I don't know. It just feels weird that Seeker is going to be back, and we have long since passed the point the movie physically released. So I don't know why we're bringing Seeker back anyway.
Reasons.
Fair. Because now that I think about it, I don't know why in context Ace would want him back. Considering you're the one who blew him up to start with.
What if it's not actually him, but a Yamato acting like him?
That I could believe.
Because that feels like the path we would be going.
Yeah. Oh, and I can't believe I forgot about the Laser Razor Rider Memorial Edition, where we're getting 2 more cards, which means 2 more laser form riders. Hooray! I'm guessing it's going to be Kekara and Baropa at this point, because people think it was Jin based off the color of the card, and I'm like, he's not here, and I don't think he's coming back. So I think it is the other 2 of them. Just so they have forms our riders can punch.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Or if
Anyway,
our riders could punch the CGI forms and finish blowing the budget out.
Fair. I wouldn't mind that. Just so those forms get to show up again.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem with that. Finish blowing the budget out.
Yeah.
We've already got Ace, and every time that we're gonna see Mark IX blowing more and more budget money, so I don't know if we'll have enough by the time that comes around.
Yeah. I am sad that Soda's, for what is presumably their last wave for Geese, is yeah, we couldn't get to Mark III or just Mark IX in general. We will still make Mark IX, and I'm like, it's gonna be premium, isn't it? The movie's sad. Because I could see the set of Mark III, Mark IX, the Boost Striker as a set they release. Because they have not released the Boost Striker at all. And just because they can, here's the parts that make the buff of Boost Striker for the one time it happened. Anyway, shall we talk Kamen Rider Black?
I mean, we kind of have to.
Yeah. So it's 41 through 44 this week, folks. 41, the dangerous time thieves. Some kid's upset, and he breaks the statue with his dad's name written on it. I think it's a statue. I have no idea. They
He
don't
broke
explain
a
what that.
thing.
He broke a thing because he's mad because his dad got killed by Gorgum, and he's now sad about it.
His dad
so-
got killed by Gorgon when, Shadow Moon first debuted.
Yeah. So yeah, we see all this, and then a time portal opens, and 2 samurai guys just drop out of it, and then cause shenanigans with the time machine that they have. That I thought it was a weather machine for a second, but then it turns out it's a time machine because,
I feel like the weather machine thing would have made for a far better episode.
yes, it would have. So now it's funny, happy shenanigans after this very serious conversation we had about the casualties of this fight with Gorgum. So Kotaro tries to follow them because the kid wants to go with them to save his dad via time travel, and then Kotaro follows them, and then they get teleported around, and then another samurai shows up, and it turns out it's the snake monster for the episode, and Kotaro fights it, and then it fucks off. Also, the goons work for Snake Man.
Because,
Also-
apparently now our monsters can also look like people and have other abilities
Yes.
without any explanation.
Which supposedly it's time abilities, according to one of the Gorgon people, and I'm like, that is not how this works. But also, where the hell did you steal the time machine from? Because the goons say that the monster wanted them to steal the time machine for him. And I'm like, from where? It has a snake thing on it. Is it not yours? What do you mean you stole that?
Well, on top of that, if Snake Monster has time powers, then why did Snake Monster need them to steal Time Machine Box?
That too.
This one can go down in the book of half-baked Gorgum ideas, because that's what the show boils down to.
Yep. But anyway, time travel shenanigans and stuff. Apparently, Kotaro's immune to time travel shenanigans because something.
No, he's afraid. He's unaffected by time-stopping powers.
Oh, okay. Which I assume is something Kingstone.
No, they actually said something robot.
Oh, okay, so practically the same thing.
Saying that it would have been because of the Kingstone would have actually worked far better this one time, and then they still blow it. Way to go.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of time travel shenanigans, a lot of chasing around. Eventually, Kotaro ends up with Nobuhiko before, he got kidnapped and turned into Shadow Moon, and he tries to warn him, and it doesn't work because causality says, fuck you. You're not allowed to do that. So then he has to save the kid.
That was the name of the snake monster.
You know what? It probably is.
Only reason I say that is because we get a flash of what I'm assuming is the snake monster resetting the time using the box to make that still play out normally.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's buttons and nothing's labeled, so I don't know how they're getting anything done out of this.
There's buttons, switches, lights. there's so many things in this box and none of it's labeled. I am surprised we have not all caused utter problems.
It would have been funnier to have ended the show by the snake monster removing itself. Just saying.
Yes. But yeah, Kotaro fights the snake monster to save the kid. The goons help. They get sent home. He saves the kid. Monster goes boom. That's the episode, folks. Moving on. Episode 42, Tokyo. Big monster gathering. So now the new plan is we're going to revive the monsters. How are we going to do that? We have a fly monster to do so, but he needs to be paired with a psychic person to do so. That's the plan. There is an abnormal amount of psychic bullshit in this show.
Yes, there is.
Why?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I get the feeling that it's just a case of they ran out of things to think of.
Probably.
And that worked so well the last, 4 times they've done that now?
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we run into 2 kids who are psychic because they are, and their dad is researching it, and they're upset because other kids call them aliens because psychic powers.
Because most people don't place their hand over a wound and it magically heal.
Yeah.
How that's psychic powers, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's the only reason I'm calling that one out, is because I don't know how.
Look, I question in Gundam what the fucking new type is when all I've seen them do is read people really well. And I'm like, are you psychic or are you just good at reading people? Because those are 2 very different things.
Yes.
Anyway, one runs off, the other one stays with Kotaro and the girls, and the other one gets kidnapped and possessed by the flying monster. So now he's reviving monsters as ghosts, and ooh, monster shenanigans! Hooray for like most of the episode. Because they're ghosts, which means they can become intangible when Kotaro tries to hit them, and then become tangible and smack the shit out of Kotaro. Eventually, the brother helps it's like Kotaro find him. They save the other kid. Kotaro blows up the fly monster, which gets rid of all the revived monsters. Hooray! That's the episode. I swear they played Gorgum's theme song like 4 times in that episode. Which, by the way, folks, Gorgum has their own insert theme that they play a lot, and it makes me not care. Because I feel like it's just filling in the dead space of, here is this montage of bad things happening. Or sometimes shenanigans happening.
Or sometimes fights.
That too.
When
Anyway,
when they use it on fights, that's when you know that Kotaro's fixing to get his butt handed to him.
Yep.
That, and if he doesn't do the long transformation, then you can pretty much know that he's getting his butt handed to him.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, episode 43, The Monster Farms Duel. So we have fancy apartments controlled by Siri, and absolutely nothing can go wrong with this already.
Yeah, it totally won't turn into a Skynet situation or nothing.
I am just reminded of watching a video talking about Fast Pass, like the history of Fast Pass at Disneyland. And you know what Disney tried to do to improve on Fast Pass? They tried to give you these bracelets that would let you access Fast Pass and stuff. But you know what it also would do? It would be your key card to your hotel room. Guess what doesn't work? That very thing, amongst a dozen other things this stupid bracelet was supposed to do. Because it was also supposed to be your credit card and your ticket into the park and a bunch of other things, and none of it worked. And they knew none of it worked when it was in development. Because they hired a bunch of people bad at their jobs to make it. And the people in like the tech department of Disney took one look at everything they were doing and going, this is not going to work. And then the heads went, we spent $2 million on this. It has to work. Make it work. By the way, go watch the Funklens video on the history of Fast Pass. It's very good, even though it's like 2 hours. Man went on a mission to see if Fast Pass was better than like Fast Pass Plus and like just normal ticketing in order to like get people in the rides and stuff in Disneyland, and said, yeah, I need to hire an industrial engineer to make a simulation to make this work. So I hired an industrial engineer to make a simulation to prove that prove my hypothesis. It's wonderful. Anyway. Also, these apartments have low rent and all these big fancy tech promises, and it's a Gorgon plot. Of course, it's a Gorgon plot. Kotaro and the girls run into this dude kid who says, like, I live in these apartments and my parents disappeared one night and then they came back and as it turns out, they're draining people's energy to make more monsters
out of regular animals.
Yes. Remember that point. So Kotaro and the gang go to investigate, and by Kotaro and gang, I mean Kotaro and the small child. The girls don't show up for an additional 5 minutes.
I mean, they kind of had to wait that long. That way they could give everyone a way out.
Yes. So yeah, the Kotaro and the kid go in the elevator. They go down. There's a whole ass colony underneath the apartments, which is also where Hayato made his debut in the original series, for those wondering, because I recognize it as that exact place. I was like, oh, hey, this place. I wonder how many times this has shown up between now and the original series.
Probably far too many.
Probably. Anyway, kid gets kidnapped, so Kotaro fights the new monster. It gets away. The girls sneak in. And I literally have the note of, can't wait for them to get kidnapped again. Because by the way, I took the notes this week as I was watching, because I didn't feel like I had time to really like do it after I watched all 4 episodes.
Oh, fair.
So I was just like, well, if the girls are going in, I wonder how long till they get kidnapped, because it's probably going to happen.
Fun fact, it didn't this time.
I know, I was surprised. They did something of use this time. Hooray. I like it when the girls get to do something in the show beyond fucking exist.
Unfortunately, they didn't get to do a whole heck of a lot either, though.
It's more than they normally get to do.
Because it was literally have convenient timing to walk in said room as Kotaro broke the thing using the device for the bracelets so that they could tell everyone to run.
And then break that device.
Yeah, well, I'm not counting that part of it because I don't think throwing a plant on it can cause it to spontaneously combust.
Gorgon makes the stuff on cheap. It's real fragile.
I don't think that's how that works.
Anyway, speaking of Kotaro, he finds the kid, but oh no, it's an Among Us, because it's the one lady who keeps turning into people because they have the kid in their arms. And then Shadow Moon shows up. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna fight! Hell yeah! And then they don't.
You mean Shadow Moon clacks into the frame?
Yep. Why do they always show him feet first with his stupid fucking automatic heels?
Oh Jesus!
Oh my god! Stop reminding me of this thing I hate about Shadow Moon all the time, please.
I love it too because they go a step further than even that. You will hear him clacking into the room. Then they will snap the camera to his feet to then come up. It's like, you didn't have to do that. We heard him.
Yeah. I know it's him. No one else would be this stupid.
What's bad is that one I was partially interested to see if we were going to do anything until he clacked into frame, and then I lost interest completely.
Yeah. So he threatens Kotaro once. I think he hits him with an attack, and okay, it's just me or has the black suit seen better days? Because I think the shoulder pad is damaged heavily.
I mean, it's getting to the end of the show.
But like, there's a chunk missing out of the shoulder pad on the front.
It doesn't surprise me.
I just noticed it this week. I'm just like, damn, they're not even bothered to repair the suit.
I don't know if it's so much that as if it could potentially have been like a reshoot kind of deal.
It persisted for several episodes. Because it was in this
if they had to reshoot quite a few things after the end of the show or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's several episodes this is present, and I'm gonna keep an eye out to see if it stays. Because I think every fight scene, the shoulder pad has been damaged. I'm like, I guess you don't care anymore. But anyway, the girls trip the alarm, and that distracts everyone, so we don't get a fight between Black and Shadow Moon. Damn it. So he gets to rescue the kid, and then Shadow Moon breaks the machines trying to kill Kotaro. Or one of them tries to kill Kotaro and like keeps breaking all the machines. And then the girls evac everybody, like through the elevator, like 3 trips to do so.
Even though they all came down in one.
Yep. Kotaro fights the new monster, and then Shadow Moon's like, fuck it, I'm gonna blow up the base. It's gonna kill him. Bye. So the base is blowing up. Everyone escapes. Kotaro actually comes up the elevator after everything blows up. And by the way, he doesn't come up with all the animals and stuff like I was expecting, because that'd been funny. Now he comes up by himself, which means all those animals are dead. All those ducks and other sorted animals that they had throughout, yeah, they're all dead. I guess they were evil. That's why it's okay.
I mean, you know, I didn't think about that, mainly because I quit caring with the show.
Yeah.
But that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. Shadow Moon has murdered a lot of animals to try to kill Kotaro this week, and it didn't work.
What's bad is that looks bad on both of them.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, last episode for the week, episode 44. The drawers enter is the sea. So, kid's making his own RC car and stuff, and he's driving it around. And then his closet opens up a portal and eats him because it's a science experiment from Gorgon to make a teleporting machine. And it ended up being his closet. And now the kid runs away, and Kotaro hears him outside the house.
Quite a bit down the road.
Yes! From God knows where.
Through a closed closet door.
That is a portal to who knows where the fuck this base is. Fucking sure.
I know
anyway.
What it was. It was within a couple of houses because his Gorgon sense went off, even though there was nothing that could have alerted it until, you know, the remote control for the RC car hijacked the teleporter.
Yes. Although it turns off later because it's like, that sounds fun. This kid's just making stuff up. Nothing bad's happening here at all.
Also, second or third time this week that, you know, he's decided to downplay something like that when he's been literally dealing with this crap for 43 episodes before this.
Yeah, it's like Kotaro, at this point, you have to just go, all right, something's weird is happening. I'm going to check it out to see if it's a Gorgon thing or if it's just a normal thing. If it's a normal thing, I'll just walk away. If it's a Gorgon thing, at least I'm here now. Maybe I'll get a head start. But yeah, we find out that the remote to this kid's RC car is somehow interfering with their transportation device. Just that. Nothing else in the town does that except this one specific RC remote car.
Yeah, not any of the other RC remotes that could potentially be anywhere around.
How? Especially when they're like, we put up a shield to interfere with the fucking road sector.
If
we planned for that.
If it was literally any other show, I would be like, it's probably because he actually built the remote himself.
Yes.
Except for that doesn't matter in this show.
Yes. Also, I don't think he even did anyway. I think it's just a stock remote control that he tinkered with.
Oh, it completely is a stock remote control, but he at least had it apart, so it made it appear as if he was building it.
Yes.
So they could have gotten away with that.
Oh.
Except the show, one, refused to, use that.
Mm-hmm.
And two, has done literally everything to not try to make sense. So why start now?
Yeah. But anyway, they plan to use this transportation device to flood the city by transporting water into the underground and subways and stuff. And so now Kotaro's senses are tingling, and he manages to arrive to save the kid because one of the head guys gets teleported into his room.
You know the plot got stupider than just that, right?
I'm sure.
Because it wasn't just to flood the subways and everything. It was to erode the foundation so the roads and buildings fall into the ocean.
It's not how
That's
that
not
works.
how that works.
That's not how that works.
I saw that and I'm like, yep, this is another dumb one. Noted. Will we at least kill someone?
No.
No. Dang it.
Anyway, Kotaro saves the kid, but then the remote gets taken, and then the kid gets kidnapped through teleportation shenanigans as Kotaro gets thrown from one place to the other and all over the place. And I stopped caring. And then he starts fighting, and the kid's taking a nap on a boat that's leading to the portal that's going to then dump the water into the subways and stuff and all that. Oh god, why isn't this ending? The road sector shows up and it gets interference. It doesn't work until Kotaro tells it to try again, and then it does, and then the machine goes kaboom, and then he saves the kid, and then everything is saved. Hooray! Fucking that's it this week, folks. Why won't this show end?
I've just gotten to the point where I'm now trying to see how stupid we're at.
Yeah.
The show keeps topping itself on that part of it, and I don't understand this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get how the plots can get stupider the farther we're going. And they try to make it sound like it would be a thing.
Yeah.
They have tried to make it sound like they are smarter plans, except for they are dumber plans. And I'm like, what? How does that work?
It's times like this where I'm like, this is what people think of the show era. And by people, I mean Inoue and stuff when we get to the later crossovers. This is what they think the show era is.
I mean...
Is episodes like this.
I mean... It also doesn't help that everything that we have seen for both this and Ichigo, more often than not, you can skip the episode because absolutely nothing happens.
Yeah.
Whatever the plot of that episode is, happens completely in that episode. And it's one of those, it's like, yeah, the dumb ones like this are the ones that stand out. Because they're that dumb.
Yeah. So I'm like, there was good episodes of the original series I liked. They were all at the start, and like sometimes there were interspurts in there, but like the majority of it was only slightly better than this that we got this week.
I mean, with Ichigo, it pretty much was the beginning of it, and pretty much every time we were introduced to a new major character.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was a lot of, not to this level of dumb, but a lot of dumb stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like with Black, like I said on the pre-show, you can pretty much just watch 2 episodes and be fine.
Yeah. I just wish, I'm like, if it's gonna be this dumb, it needs to be like, it needs to go harder. It needs to be more entertaining, and it's not. And I'm just like, why? How can this show be so boring when dumb shit like this happens all the time? Mm-hmm. Why am I so bored? Like, where is us like putting the black suit on a mannequin and throwing it off like a waterfall or something, or yeeting it at a plane, or I don't know, weirder, dumber shit. And like, it's not here. It's just boring and dull, and I don't care. Anyway, that's it for this week, folks. Next week, it's 4 more episodes, and I need to make sure the drive's updated now. So we're about at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that next week. But between now and then, Thursday, it's more Tears of the Kingdom. We're gonna go do the Gerudo Village and maybe the Master Sword stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Friday is a KH2 rando of some kind.
Yes.
And Saturday will be TGS as we talk about all of the not E3 stuff that happened the past like 2 weeks, because that's pretty much going to be the bulk of the show. I don't know how much right now, but it will be the bulk of the show. Anyway, if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at affiliate goal at TeachSaloon on Twitter. Gets you updates of life. Next message point, Discord, Jack is this one. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.